So, welcome back to the glass cube amber clock thing. And yeah, something I forgot to mention, put this back together again. One of my favourite things about these glass clocks is you can see the escapement through the glass. And you can see it ticking. And where's the balance wheel? There it is. Escape wheel, you can see moving around as well. And it's a really nice thing to look at when you're looking at it from the side. Unfortunately, our friend, the gross one here, is all shrouded around the edges, so you won't be able to see that. However, you know, still nice to look at from the front. Although it's not really, because of that dial on there. So, in this episode, I will be disassembling this movement here. And probably cleaning this up as well, because that's not going to require isopropyl alcohol, most likely. So, may as well get to it. I've done these movements many before, or other, whatever, reword that in yourself. Gonna focus. There we go. And yeah, some of these are contained within these sort of shrouds. Some of them are not. Some of them, which I really don't like the ones that have this, and that is having twisted tabs on the back of the dial pan, which go into holes in the bottom of there, and you twist them and they come on. No, 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 no. I don't like that. What I do like is pins that go in. We'll see what this one has in a second. But yeah, at least it's got the kind of bezel that is screwed in rather than twisted on. That's a bonus, but we'll see what the dials are like in a second. Because those twisted tabs you can only really touch a couple of times before they get limp and break off. So I'm just going to undo these screws. Pretty rare to see all the original edge screws on these. Usually there's either none of them because the bezel's been removed, or there's one or two left and you can never find ones that fit. However, with this we have all three, I presume, are the originals, because I doubt this has been serviced ever, really, looking at it. I mean, maybe in its first 5 years of life, but considering this is probably 70 years old at least, that's 60 years, or 65 years of not being, cared for. And looking at it, you can see probably why someone nowadays would probably not consider ever caring for it, because look at it. However, I am not that kind of person, and no matter what a clock looks like, I shall, oh my goodness, I shall perform on it. And we have here lots of green stuff. It is twisted tabs, I'm afraid. Or bent tabs, actually, that's not as bad. Yeah, I don't know what on earth this is. Some kind of oxidation from the bezel? Not bezel, what's it called? Matting ring. I really should have used a proper hand removal method. But I think someone's removed this hand before, and it's all loose, and it was coming off in the clock. So is that. So as we were, the dial pan here. Looks like one of the tabs is broken off. So yeah, this has been looked at before. This one's very... Oh, these are so thin. These are like wafer thin. I don't want to touch these too much. Don't want to touch this too much either. But I'm considering reusing this dial. Oh, it's got a name on it. JFS. Is that JFS or JES? I think it's JFS. Is that the clockmaker's name? Sorry, focus it rather. Yeah, JFS. Is that the name of the clock company? I don't know any JFS or JES, but I'll look it up after recording. And this probably shouldn't have come off. I should probably glue that back on again. Yeah, these probably had nails in there at some point, which have just gone. But yeah, we'll keep this and try and clean that green off it. Let's look at the inside of here. Yeah, this should pop through unless it's, all rusted inside. There we go. A very grubby glass. A very greened up matting ring. And our outer thing and bezel, which are in pretty good shape. It looks like it's been redone at some point, that brass on there, but it's still, it looks pretty decent. So, the movement, which is what makes it tick and all, from the front, this is the front by the way, Um, sort of weird cloudy effect on it. I don't know what that is. It looks like it's been left outside or something. It wants to tick, but I guess it would, really. It's just the dirt that's stopping it. And we don't want to run it too much like this. I mean, not like it can run for too much, because it might cause even more wear. Not that there is much wear on this, actually. No worn out things, because I imagine after a certain time period, people stop winding these things up, because it's 30 hours for a clock that's... I mean, for an alarm clock you understand, because it's by your bedside and you need it to wake you up, but a clock like this, which only runs for 30 hours on your mantelpiece or desk, that you might forget to wind up once, it's like, oh, I need to wind it, reset it, becomes a bit of a pain. I mean, when in its day, it was probably fine. It's like, oh yeah, I think these are more of a decorative novelty item, even when they were new. These movements, novelty clock type things. But yeah, you know, they keep good time sometimes. But as practicality goes, a 30-hour non-alarm movement in general is not really something that is that useful. I mean, at least the main benefit nowadays of a mechanical clock is that it's better for the environment because it doesn't use any batteries, and I support that because I myself am a mechanical clock favourer for that reason, and also because they're more interesting and they can be repaired, whereas unless you know about electricals and all that, which I think less people will know about that than they will know about this. But yeah, as I was saying, we need to get this apart. So yeah, the first thing you should always do, depending on the movement of course, is probably to remove this pin. Da-da, like that. And that pin holds the hairspring in the stud. So can we get a focus? Yes we can. And the stud being that brass thing with a hole in it, which is where the pin came out of. And that's where the thing anchors in. Alright, looks like we're through. Get it through the regulator as well. And then theoretically it should just fall out without getting caught on anything. But never be too sure, so don't hold it too high up off the ground. Oops. And I need a better pen. Oh no, this one's fine. I wish this thing would focus more often. I mean, it's fine when you get to it, but it doesn't really do it automatically, which I thought it probably would, being on a smartphone. There we go. Ooh, you see, that's why you don't want it too much off the ground, because it's caught out itself. And once it's finished vibrating, you can see that it is in reasonable shape. Yeah, it's a bit of a thin one, isn't it? That they usually are on these small movements. When the hairspring goes on these, it's like, do you really want this movement anymore? These just came out of nowhere, didn't they? This is the motion mark. Just found them lying down there and thought, where did these come out? But yeah, the next thing to do is let the power down at this, because as you can see, it's fully wound up. And if I attempt to take these four, so there's one there as well, you probably might not have noticed, nuts off, and pull it apart, there will be some explosive power being let out of that, and it might damage the clock, or me, or both, which we don't want, really. So to let down, and there are multiple sort of contradicting ways of doing this. I'm just going with the one that I do, because it's the one I know. And it is to every now and then do the gradual release of the click until it goes down. Now there it is, my click operating screwdriver for small clicks, which is this one here, which I just gave it the name right now. And yeah, I'm just turning the key slightly, trying to find a way to hold this in one hand whilst having it on the camera. It's pretty difficult. You probably want a clamp or something to hold this in. But I'm a no clamp kind of guy, and then you sort of... Well, this one's a pain, isn't it? It's very hard to get a tool in. Yeah, this is a pain, actually. You know what? Forget this. I'm just going to do the good old-fashioned take the pallet out and forget everything happened. Because sometimes when a movement's so small like this, and it's got all kinds of stuff in the way to get your thumbs trapped in, and the click itself is so small, and doesn't have any helpful things on it to help you release, and the actual click spring, I felt so much power in that click spring there that it's just too stiff to really do this properly on. So we are going to undo one. We are going to undo these slightly, not all the way though. All of them, like 1/4 of a turn, and then this one we're going to take off. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully separate it, but only so I can remove that piece here, the lever. I used to call it a pallet, probably still will out of force of habit, but I think it's called the lever. And I need to undo this one a little bit more. And the trick is to get this out without causing any of the other wheels to come out. So separating it carefully. And you'll know when it starts to whiz, and then you can trap it with your finger. I've got my finger on the third wheel, so it doesn't whiz around and cause any damage to the pins. It's nearly there. Yeah, okay, that's one side of it. Right, now it's out, so I can do that. And then we can press it back together again, seeing if everything's back in its place, and then change my hand position so that my finger's on the escape wheel instead of the third wheel, and then we can gradually let the power down like that. You could let it zip and just let the whole thing go down, but because it's so dirty it might cause some wear and just get overheated or something. So I'm just going to do it like this. It might take a while, so be patient. And in fact, I'm the one that needs to be patient. You can do a jump cut like I will give you now. So, welcome back, and I have fully let down this by doing the remove the pallet method. A quicker way will probably be to remove the escape wheel as well, but that's a bit wild for me. So I'm just doing it like that, keeping it safe. And you know it's fully done because when you move it, it actually goes back on you, like that. So that means it's actually, you know, anti-springing. So now it should be pretty safe to, I think it should be pretty safe to fully undo these on their very, very, very long threads, which will take a while to undo. Like one. And this one's shorter for some reason. I think it must have broken off at some point. Oh, this is still going. And then two. And then finally, you've got another one. Because I already took the fourth one off earlier. And it's already coming apart on me because I'm squeezing it at the thing being a circle. It's got overhang on the edges. Like that. And then we can hopefully, without too much damage to anything, remove the bits. A bit stuck in there, aren't they? There's one. Oh yeah, lantern pinions, it's going to have that issue, isn't it? And then, ta-da! Alright, we've got the inside. No looking of a maker's mark I can see. But I wasn't expecting one really. I mean, this is, you know, most of these were unbranded. Except the occasional one, which is by a famous company anyway, like HAC. And then we have the front plate. So, you could remove that if you want to, but hopefully the method I'm going to use won't really need me to do that, because sometimes you can do that and the grip goes out the cannon pinion, and then you're done for really. But yeah, let's take this out of there, and I think we can leave it pretty much. I guess we can have a look at the stuff I'm not going to put in there. For example, the glass, which I will clean. Say goodbye to dirty glass. Hello, clean glass. Look at that. Bit smudgy, I know, but I'll give it a final polish up later. And this dial, what we're going to do. Does this stuff come off? I don't want to breathe it in. It looks sort of toxic kind of thing. It's sort of wet. Yeah, it comes off alright. Alright, I'll clean this off somewhere else. And a slightly less crusty one, which I don't want to clean too hard, because look at the number 5, what happened to that one, and try to scrub it. Yeah. Now I'm sort of debating replacing this, but we'll see how it looks anyway. Maybe it'll work. Who knows? I do like a brown dial, provided you can still see the numbers on it. And finally, this manky case. Ta-da! Looks like one of those, I nearly said Heinz, Haribo, what's the name? Coke bottle things. So this is where I'm leaving you today, with a disassembled movement and cleaned case, well, relatively clean case. It could be more clean, especially the dial, which I'm almost thinking about replacing. But yeah, really, I don't know, see how it looks. I mean, we may as well take it out now, because we've pretty much got the dial end of stuff sorted out. So I'll put that on there, put that on there, put that on there, put this in there, and see how it looks. Bungle it all together. What do you think? Should I replace that? I don't know, tell me. In the comments, just down there, or up there if you're watching upside down.